Hi and welcome to another episode of Finax podcast. My name is Tamara and my guest today is Emilio. Emilio, hi.
Hi.
Nice to have you here. Today we decided to talk about the importance of having financial goals. It is, I think, the key to achieving financial success in a long run.
Yes, and to say the least.
Yes.
And that is only the start, because we have, as we talked about before the podcast, we need to distinct, between having financial and investment goals, but it's interchangeable and it goes like in the same path at the end.
They go hand in hand.
Yeah, they go hand in hand, and as we talked about, you need to know I have short-term, long-term goals. So it is not the short-term and long-term will never be the same. If we are just talking about, investment-wise, if you go shorter, you cannot go maybe dynamical. You go a little bit more conservative, more on the bond side. And if you're if you have longer period, then we can have more stock options. So we can even go more dynamic. But between those two goals, you need to find the reason. I don't know. I'm not going to say the reason, but as you said, and the topic of the podcast is to find a goal, what you are trying to achieve.
Yes, definitely we are going to have more of those, right? Because as you say, some of them are short-term, some of them are long-term. But before that, I think what we need to talk about is that basically we need to see what kind of habits we have, because habits are very important in this process. So in terms of spending or saving or investing, whether we do have already developed these habits or not. In case we haven't, we have to see what we can do with our money, with our budget, where we can find the money, how much money we can find, and what we do with that. In cases we have some debt, some liabilities, that is something that surely we want to take care of first, right? Especially if we have high interest on this debt, we want to get rid of it, and we want to make sure that in some period of time, we are basically taking it away, and we also want to determine why, for example, we get into debt and how we get into debt. So these are some kind of habits that we need to maybe change. We want to
and sometimes that is a difficult a difficult topic or difficult talk to have between in your family. Are we going to take this debt or no? Because you need to put it on paper.
Yes.
Is it viable or is it feasible for me, or is it doable? Because if it's long-term debt, if you have interest rates, 3-4%, you will pay so much on interest. So it is you need to even think about those things.
Yeah, people don't think that 3% is a lot, but when you take 200,000, 300,000 or more thousands of something, then this 3%.
You would pay even half of that
over 30 years or something like this.
Yes,
surely, of course, we talk about this is good debt. Let's put it this way, but we still have to be reasonable, right? So I wanted to mention that
there is a bad debt as well.
Yes,
maybe.
Well, of course there
Credit
is,
cards.
and this is the one that we surely want to, in a way, avoid and make sure that our habits don't lead to that.
Yes.
But there is this method that's called SMART method of setting goals. What it means that when setting up our goals, we need to be specific. So, for example, we need to write down a specific goal. We can talk about a goal like, having holidays on an exotic island or whatever. But it has to be specific, right? So we need to make sure that we know where we go, whether it's our pension and we are, for example, investing for our pension. It needs to have a name. It's called pension, because that's something that will keep us on track in the long run. Because when we are talking about pension, definitely it's going to be a long-term goal, right? And this is the difference between this very short-term and maybe mid-term or something that is really, really long-term. So we need to think about that. Also that it's measurable. This is why it's called SMART.
It's acronym,
So measurable, so that we can actually, talk about something particular, how much we need for that money, for that specific goal, how we can get there, so that it's not something,
of the cuff. But I understand, but you can even help yourself. There's a lot of now budgeting rules.
Yes.
You have like the most famous one is 50-30-20 rule.
Yes, which I think I was just talking about it in a podcast yesterday. It was, I think, first time it was written in the book around 2005.
Yeah.
Things have changed a little bit
Yeah,
because
but
the costs of living and everything went up. But yeah, it's let's say it's something that could put us within the some kind of. I would say we talk about the categories, right?
Between guidelines, because you have a guideline, and you can at least try to achieve that guideline.
Yes.
But I don't like that rule as well, But the good thing about this rule is that it's making you write all those things, you need to know, because it is like 50%.
It's making you make a first step, and
yes.
what it actually makes you any kind of guideline like this, it will make you realize how far you're off. In any of the category, but as I said, it also depends on how much money you're earning. Yeah, because obviously,
because when I was a student, and you as well, you could not like put 50 on expense. You were 95% on your expense and 5% on your leisure. You didn't even invest.
I mean, by expenses we think we mean like utility,
food,
the like, necessities,
necessities,
the ones that you cannot live without. Then the second one is like fun, and it's really optional. Whatever makes you enrich your life and enjoy your life. I would say, whether it's fitness,
going to cinema, to the movies, theater,
all these extras that make us happy, right? It can be really personal, depending on the person. Yeah, and then the third one,
20% should be investing.
Yes, should be
savings.
Basically, you investing for your future. So this is for your future you. This is 20%. But if you are able to have more in this last category, it's something that we would really kind of like to see in this kind of guidelines, maybe more percentages into that. So, but it's a good exercise to make something like this, and then you see how far you're off in any of these things, and you can maybe adjust according to what you need and what you can actually afford.
And that is the point of that method, to adjust it for your own needs. As we said, you will not be. You could spend 50% on your expenses if you're earning a little bit more, and 30% then on leisure and 20% on investment. But but it's a good habit because if then you will know where is my money going, how much money is coming in, and you're like making some kind of decisions. You now have even on our platform PFM applications, personal finance management. So it can help you with budgeting rules, creating rules.
Yes.
So
it can integrate all your bank accounts, and nowadays it's really easy to make budgeting and to realize where your money goes thanks to these fintech applications, because it's right there, for you.
Because as we look now, regarding notes, because you used to write everything in the notebook, and it was very complicated. But now you just put few numbers there. Everything is automated as well.
Yes.
So it is probably the A in the SMART method as well, right?
No, A is achievable.
Achievable.
Which means that you have to be. You have to make sure.
To be achievable,
they have to be achievable. So, for example, I don't know. You tell yourself, "I want to buy a Ferrari in 6 months." Is that achievable? You
don't know, but but probably
So
I understand,
okay, maybe some fancy holiday, and you say, okay, I don't know, I'm planning it in 1 year. So then you look up the expense part of the holiday, you see how many months you have, you divide it by that, and you see how much monthly you have to put on the side in order to achieve that goal, whether it's a holiday or something in the long run.
They need to be like realistic.
Exactly, because otherwise you're not going to, I mean, you're going to give up, because you will realize very soon that it's not something that is sustainable. And all your plans and goals have to be sustainable. If you say that you're going to put on a side for saving and investing, I don't know, 50% of your income, and you have you realize when you're doing your budgeting that your I don't know necessities take 60% of your it's just not going to work, right?
Yeah,
so I mean it's very mathematics is a very exact science, so numbers have to add up. If they don't, then you have a problem. So this is where this A comes in. The goal really has to be achievable in order for you to stay on track and to stay motivated. There are different ways to stay motivated. For example, when I'm talking about this holiday, you can put some kind of a picture of this on your fridge. So every time you are going to the fridge, you're going to see, this is where I want to.
This is where I want to lie down. To
and
sunbathe.
then this R in SMART goes for relevant. The goal has to be really relevant for you, because that's also what's going to keep you motivated, and it's going to keep you on the bad days, or when you're thinking of some kind of purchase that was not planned, maybe. But hey, I have this goal. I want to get to that island, in 12 months. So it's something that is going to keep you on track.
So it's good for prioritization, because if something happens, you can say, okay, but this is not in my guidelines, on my path to now, maybe in the future, but now. So this can obviously help, because today, as you all know, the consumerism is so much, I don't know, they're difficult, and it's everywhere, and it's always enticing us to spend more. But you need to sometimes take a step back, and have a look on your finances, what is happening here. And this is the great way, the smart way as well. Those budgeting rules, you can always adjust them for your own needs. They are only there for you to have, as you said, to make a first step.
Yes.
Just to maybe be more, to have more, how would I say it, like reliability on your own, and to maybe put more emphasis. How are you going to make money, to spend money, and what are you going to do with it?
Well, it makes you realize your limitations. Which is really important.
This was what I was looking for. Limitations.
And maybe here it would be good to say there is a great book called Atomic Habits.
Yes.
Which actually talks about how much these small changes in your habits can actually help you in a long run. And there are different ways of, for example, you have certain habits that you dislike. For example, overspending, impulsive spending, or something like this, impulsive purchasing. And then, you can start changing these habits. For example, you can get a new habit where you have to wait and sleep over 24 hours before you purchase something that you have not planned to purchase,
when you're going to shops, eat before you are going to the shop, because then you will buy more.
Make a list, when you go shopping for groceries or whatever. So
like we're making for Santa's list, you need to grocery list. So I'm going to buy this.
Yes. So again, it's your guideline, and you just try to stick to your guideline. It's not going to be perfect at the beginning, but I think the more you do it, the more, the better you will become.
It will be more automated, and you will not even need in the end, those. But it is it is those small things, And the great example in that book was the cycling team in England, because I'm not sure what's the name of the coach, but it is in the beginning of the book that he was changing small things.
So that's what I'm saying. Small habits, which we can.
He changed, I don't know, the interior where they were working out, a little bit of their food, what they were eating, what they were drinking, how much they were sleeping, and those little changes ended up that England was in 15-20 years had the most gold on the Olympic Games, and before that England was nowhere. Great Britain, sorry, not England, Great Britain. United Kingdom, but as you can see, those small changes can make a huge difference even on the big scale.
It's for example, if you don't like how much time you're spending watching TV,
Yeah.
You can do something with your remote control. You can put batteries on one side of the house and the remote control on the other one.
Yes.
Or you can go all the way. For example, I was never spending, because I traveled so much, I never spent a lot of time watching TV. But for example, before our son was born, we decided we will get rid of the TV completely because we never watch it. And we don't want to develop this habit with him that, once he comes home, he turns on the TV.
And sits down.
And since then, it's almost 7 years,
Yeah.
we don't watch TV. We live perfectly well. If we want to watch something, we can again do it on our computer and watch a movie or whatever, some sports, what we want to really watch. But it's not a habit. You come home and, you turn on the TV. You can spend that time. You can utilize it for something that develops you in a way that you want to
enhance you.
Enhance you in many different ways. You can spend that time, like quality time with your family, or do something else. So that's and the last obviously part of this smart method is time bound. It has to be time bound. So you really have to have the deadline.
When you want to. Years? Is it 1 year? Is it 6 months?
As you mentioned earlier, when we talk about investment goals, for example, it's really important because this is the way we are going to set our strategy. If we know that the goal is coming in 20, 30, 40 years, it's going to be very dynamic. We can allow ourselves to go more into equity, for example. Then if our goal is, I don't know, short term,
maybe to renovate the house or something like that. Yeah. So
we want to do it in 3 to 5 years. So we are going to have a different strategy. All right. And if we, for example, consult a robo-advisor like Finax, the algorithm is going to give us a different strategy.
Yeah.
Everything else can be the same. Yeah. So our financial situation, everything will be the same. Yeah. But the fact that the actual horizon will be different will give us a different strategy. So that's why it is smart to plan ahead and to put things down.
Smart with smart method.
Yes, exactly. It can help us, exactly to enhance our lives and enhance the things that we do and how we do them. And as we mentioned in this book, as he says there, it's the small things.
Yeah.
A lot of small things that in the end change things. For example, having an emergency fund. If we set it as a goal, it's a short-term goal to achieve it, but then it's something that we will have for some time, hopefully, because we never know.
When something arises,
it
accident,
can arise now,
whatever.
or it can arise in 10 years.
Washing machine goes down, your refrigerator, you never know.
You get unemployed or whatever, sick, so you have that. And why it's really important to have that as one of your first goals is because it actually helps you not to be derooted from your other goals, which means that it is more likely if you have an emergency fund that you're not going to reach out into your savings for pension and investment for pension because you suddenly
destroy your investment.
Exactly,
there,
because maybe it's a time of crisis or volatility, and you have to withdraw the money when the markets are down. So it's something that step by step you need to build a smart way of reaching your goals.
And I think that the emergency fund is the first step, and it needs to be, because I know that everybody can relate even with my story, because when something bad happens, it's like a Murphy's Law. Everything needs to go down, or so many things add up.
Other things happen.
Yes, and so and you need money then. As I told you, my windshield broke.
Yes,
I need to change it. Then my wind mirror broke. And then I need to go to the service with my car. So I needed all of that money in the short time span. And if you do not want to destroy your budget for the month, you need to pay utilities, you need to pay for your rent or for something else. That is why you have this emergency fund. So when that happens, you don't have any added stress.
Yes.
You're like, this is what I was planning
Which
for.
in these cases you don't want to have, especially for example, if this is bad, but if things really go bad, like you get unemployed or somebody gets sick or you are in an accident
or you get
somebody
fired,
at least you don't need to worry about your money or finances for next 3 to 6 months. You need to be able to work on the important things at that time without worrying and not sleeping because you don't have enough money. But also, this is why it's important not to stretch out your finances too much, because in cases something else happens and you don't have emergency fund and you have a lot of liabilities already, you just don't make
you're just digging your own grave.
You cannot
even step up from
you cannot live from month to month, and this is what some people have a problem with, because they just simply don't make it.
I think that the majority of people are living paycheck to paycheck, this is the sad part. But if you are just now like listening and trying to figure out what is the next step, there is so many options. Smart. You can do 50, 30, 20.
Yes, but the first thing is, have a look at your budget.
Yeah.
Create your budget. You don't need to be a scientist to do that. Just see how much money is coming in every month.
How much is going out?
Net to your account. So if you're an entrepreneur or whatever, or you have some freelance and you're doing some freelance or gigs on the side, whatever, just always look at the money in terms of net, because if you look at the gross amounts and you plan with gross amounts, then we are talking about completely different amounts. So it's really important that you look at the net amounts and that you see, how much money you have to spend monthly on your food, transportation, and accommodation, which are necessities. Obviously, that is also a part where we can adjust a little bit. If we don't have money, right? We can go into a smaller accommodation. We can use public transportation,
or carpool with colleague to work.
Of course,
we
can
options.
cook at home and bring it to our work, not to to eat in restaurants every day, takeouts and whatever. So there are ways if we need to do it, depending on our lifestyle and depending on what we can afford, right? And what is important for us. And then the second part is like the second category, like we mentioned, it's fun category, I would put it. This is where we can really shuffle a lot if we need to. This is the part where we are going to adjust things and probably save less in case we have sudden expenses which we haven't planned and we don't have an emergency fund. So this is the category that will go away for. So, but on the long run, it's not sustainable, because if you set your goals so rigidly that you don't have any fun, then you are not going to keep that for very long, because it's simply not going to work. So we have to be realistic. We have to allow ourselves
and to have fun in the meantime, because
some kind of, right? Again, prioritize, right? What is really important for you, and that needs to be basically.
And you can make like a fun game, it doesn't need to be like strict, but just to have interest in that, as I said, but please just have a little bit fun, because if you're going to be extremely strict, you will become depressed in a few months' time, and you will say, why am I budgeting? It's making me so stressful, and I cannot even enjoy a little bit of myself.
But budgeting is a
it's
process.
A tool. A process
and it's
a
process.
tool.
First month, but as we said, all these fintech applications will help you a lot, because you will not need to really go after every bill and write it down, because you're making transactions and your bank already knows it.
Optimized,
Exactly. So that's another point, right? Which can help us achieve goals is automatization. As we know, once the paycheck comes or your income comes to your account, make sure that you have things automated, so that you have standing orders for your investment accounts or for your saving accounts, for your bills and everything. So that goes out first, and then you know what you have left. And this is what you can work with, right? And
even in the book, I noticed here is The Richest Man in Babylon. So there is written, the first one of the rules, which is the topic of the book, is that the guy is lecturing the people in Babylon how to become more rich or to be rich as him. And he was like, always when the money came, he put the 10th on the side. And this is why he becomes so rich. So as you said, when the paycheck comes, you need to automatically, via standing order, invest your money or put it on a savings account.
Yes, for your future you.
Right? For your future you, because every cent that you do not spend today, you will spend it in the future, even with compound. So you'll even or even earn more. So this is the benefit, and why we need to do that at the beginning, not at the end, because if you are going to wait on the last day of the month, you will not have money.
Yes, because probably the second category, the fun category.
Yeah, the fun category. Yeah, let's go
expand.
out. Yeah, movie, nice shoes. I need to buy those shoes. You know,
But this is also now when we talk about that, it's also one way of doing things is that once you receive your paycheck, you send the money to different accounts for different things, right?
Yeah.
Investment accounts, saving account, which is like really saving account. It's not a spending account. And then whatever is left, you are actually able to spend. But you make sure that these things and the accommodation is paid, liabilities are paid, my future self is paid, and then I have this much left, and then you cannot go further than that. You cannot break your limits.
Mad Max.
In case something stays, you can always again send it to your future self, but you will not be able to override the limitations that you initially set up for yourself. So, well, I think we have
covered
said
everything.
Pretty much everything. I hope you can find some interesting guidelines here in our podcast today, and maybe motivation or some kind of ideas for better budgeting and for better setting up your future financial goals. Thank you, Emilia, for joining me today.
Thank you, Tamara.
And thank you for watching us. And please subscribe to our channel for...
and give a like on this video.
Yes, for more interesting content. And we hope to see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.